What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So, guys, if you didn't check out my interview last night with Cryptobud, it wasn't really an interview. We were just kind of having a good time talking about some coins. Definitely check it out. It was really, really fun. I do apologize. We did it super late. We were trying to get something set up. We couldn't figure out how to do the cross streaming, so we ended up going on like 10 o'clock my time or something like that. So yeah, guys, check it out. I thought that was really awesome. Also, if we have a look at what's going on in the markets today, now it was funny because I was talking about that weekend dip. We really didn't get it. It looks like it's kind of lagging behind, and we're having it today, Monday. So we are seeing red. We're seeing a little bit of red today. Still holding strong above the 300 billion mark. I hope that we kind of stay around that point. If we check out some of the biggest gainers, you can see that ontology was doing very, very well, followed by Digix DAO, which is one of those real world asset type things. So you always do see those, Tether, Digix DAO, things like that tend to kind of pump when the market's going down a little bit. But yeah, so if we have a look over at ontology, we could see that it did have a nice little pump right here, and it's kind of retraced back a little bit, so it might have been due to the excitement. But I actually thought it was really funny how last night we were doing the live stream, and it was completely coincidental. We were just talking about ontology, and we're looking at the charts, and people are like, it's going up, right? And we're like, what? Obviously, my small channel had nothing to do with the ontology pump. I just thought that was really kind of funny. It was kind of funny. We were talking about it, and it was like the only coin that was going up at the time. Also, I wanted to just have a look at Oyster. We're seeing a little bit of an increase in Pearl because of that airdrop potentially that's coming up. So maybe people are getting involved in Oyster right now. And then also just kind of checking in on our buddy Wanchain over here. So we are seeing it kind of have that initial sell-off straight out of the ICO. But, we had spoken about this. We spoke about hype. We spoke about usually what happens. I mean, even ontology, if we go back to ontology, when that came out, I mean, look at the hype right here. That hit an all-time high of, you had 32,700 Satoshi, $3. So, and now it's kind of settled down. You saw the volume die off, and now it's starting to come back up again. So these are things that we see all the time. Coming out of these ICOs, they tend to kind of pump right out the door. Then they kind of take their dip. There's that accumulation period, and then it tends to go back up again, usually. But obviously, everything depends on the market. So I wanted to talk about Litecoin too, because the minimum relay fee is going to be lowered to 0.1 lights per kilobyte, which is going to be roughly 0.0001 Litecoin. So that is even better news for Litecoin holders. The fees are going to be getting even lower moving forward. So that is awesome, because we have seen recently Bitcoin's fees are dirt cheap. I mean, I haven't seen a fee higher than 35 cents. So that's pretty good moving forward. But the one thing I wanted to talk about was this announcement on LitePay. So this is directly from the Litecoin Foundation. And they wrote this letter out to the entire LTC community saying, we wanted to inform you that a couple days ago, the Litecoin Foundation was contacted by Kenneth Acer, the CEO of LitePay. Now, you guys know I was really excited about LitePay. I was talking about it. I was like ready to go. I was going to buy my Litecoin or get a Litecoin card. I was all in on it. And now they're saying that, the CEO of LitePay is informing them that he has ceased all operations and is preparing to sell the company. So prior to that, the foundation had approached Kenneth regarding his less than transparent nature with the company, as they word it, and he had a Reddit AMA, and that was when he asked the foundation for more funds to continue operations. So the foundation refused any further funding as he was unable to provide a satisfactory picture of where the money had been spent, and refused to go into exact details about the company and show objective evidence to back up his statements. So, in turn, Litecoin, they say they were doing perfectly fine before LitePay, and they will continue to do so. The ecosystem is far bigger than just one company, and it is continually growing with support from many others, with market-ready products joining the space and fulfilling their promises to make it easier for the world to use Litecoin. Now, you guys know I've always been a huge Litecoin fan on my channel. personally, I've used it a lot in the past for transactions, and I was really excited for this card, and that is a bit of a disappointment, but it is nice to see the Litecoin Foundation addressing it right off the bat, just being like, hey guys, listen, we messed up. We need to do a little bit more due diligence moving forward in the future, but, here's the situation. Nothing on our end has changed, but unfortunately, it looks like this whole LitePay thing is just going to fall through, so I don't know. I hope that they find another solution for it, because I'm still extremely interested in a Litecoin debit card, but that is what it is, guys. So I also wanted to talk about this. Now, I heard about this a while ago, Cyber Miles. Now, I thought Cyber Miles was like frequent flyer miles. I really did. And like I said, I thought it was just like a frequent flyer mile. But it turns out that the Cyber Miles project is actually aiming to build a public blockchain and smart contract platform to optimize essentially e-commerce applications. So the CyberMiles blockchain will be fully compatible with Ethereum and the upcoming Cosmos network, so that application developers can freely move code and even crypto assets across blockchains. Specifically, their long-term technical goals include full compatibility with Ethereum, yet significantly optimized for e-commerce use cases, language level and virtual machine level extension to Ethereum smart contract platform to support complex e-commerce contracts, and token asset interoperability. So they're calling this release Travis. Okay, so the Travis testnet is going to provide a strong alternative to Ethereum, especially for e-commerce use cases. So some advantages. It is fully compatible with Ethereum and can run all Ethereum smart contracts. However, they're saying that it's up to 100 times faster. They're saying that it's safer than Ethereum. The blockchain proactively stops common smart contract bugs that had caused loss of funds in Ethereum. And if a loss of fund does occur, CyberMiles supports an on-chain governance process to transparently recover the funds through community consensus. It is more user-friendly and cheaper to use than Ethereum. The CyberMiles blockchain waives transaction fees for most common operations. It achieves this without sacrificing security of the network. So the public beta is available at the end of this month on the 31st. And, as far as what's next for CyberMiles, they say, for starters, we are building a highly optimized and enterprise-ready virtual machine to support many business contracts out of the box at very high performance. We also are working on bringing in Ethereum assets onto our blockchain, not to hard fork the Ethereum blockchain, but in a collaborative manner so that the assets can be exchanged easily across blockchains. So I actually thought that was interesting, because this whole time I had no idea I didn't even look into CyberMiles, because I really seriously thought it was like a frequent flyer mile thing. So maybe a rebrand. Maybe, I was definitely a little confused about that, guys. But that's the news coming out of the CyberMiles camp. Also, guys, so I've been talking about Kucoin lately and how they were having issues. Well, I decided to log in this morning just to see what was going on with it, and finally the rewards were released. Now, granted, it wasn't much, but you figure, if you're participating in these programs, then, you should be rewarded based on what they say you were rewarded on. So it looks like they have released them. But the one thing I wanted to talk about is that they are attempting to streamline trading pairs. So essentially, they're going to be removing some. So they say that we are excited to announce our new streamline exchange. With our rapid growth in the first quarter, we added in many new markets to provide a diverse platform for users to trade on. Now, as we head into the second quarter, we are making many different changes to the platform based on user feedback. Several of the markets will be streamlined. So they are making some changes to Kucoin shares, USDT, and NEO, and they are going to be completely eliminating all Bitcoin Cash trading pairs. Yeah, they're taking them down. So they said there's no more Bitcoin Cash trading pairs whatsoever. So I don't know. Will that increase liquidity? I suppose. I mean, if you only give people a few options, they'll only use those few options. Like with Coinbase, you only have 4 coins you could buy, so you're probably going to buy those 4 coins, and maybe that'll help liquidity on the network. I know they've been having a lot of liquidity issues lately, so that's coming out of Kucoin, guys. I wanted to also kind of talk about this. This was sort of funny. So if you guys know, there's been an ongoing kind of battle between, Reddits for our Bitcoin and our BTC. One of them being heavily Bitcoin proactive, and then the other being very Bitcoin Cash proactive. And, you could watch interviews with Roger Ver, Richard Hart. They've had many discussions over this, like how the moderation of these two different Bitcoin subreddits are so night and day. But the funny thing I wanted to point out was, so we had that issue with the Lightning Network. Now look at the difference in the way it was reported in a pro Bitcoin versus a pro-Bitcoin Cash Reddit. Now, this is the same exact news. So in our Bitcoin, it says hackers tried to steal funds from a Lightning channel just to end up losing theirs as the penalty. System worked as expected. Boom, right? Then, same exact story in the RBTC. And what does it say? Lightning client has catastrophic bug, causing users to broadcast an old state channel and loses his funds. Our Bitcoin thinks it's a hacker's failed attack and celebrates. So guys, this is what I was talking about before with taking all news that you read with a grain of salt. Even stuff that I say on my channel, and I got to be transparent with that too. I look at the same news that you guys look at. We are all in this together, and it's tough. It depends. Let's say you were on our BTC and that's what you read versus if you were on our Bitcoin, right? Your whole perception of the situation would be different. So you have to be careful where you're getting your sources from and what their stances and what their motives are in, talking about projects or instances or black swan events or coins or whatever it is. So I guess ultimately this is just another opportunity for me to just tell you guys to always do your own due diligence and never just trust anyone outright, not even myself, okay? Always make sure you know where the information comes from and always analyze it yourself, because that's how you're going to make the best decisions, okay? So there was also this article kind of tying in with the whole fake news thing. And they said, can blockchain save us from fake news? And this goes on to basically talk about, you've seen those affiliate programs where mom makes $3,000 a day at home while sipping on her coffee, and everybody's like, oh, let me get involved and see what this is about. Oh, I have to enter my email and then I have to sign people up or something, right? So we know that they're saying clickbait has become the new currency. And, guys, I'll be honest, I do try to avoid clickbait titles, but it's funny because when you look at some of the ones in the past, if you say something like, is Bitcoin destined for the grave, or is Neo dead, right? You get views through the roof. So we do see that these kind of clickbait titles get people really enticed to look at what's going on. Essentially that's what makes you read it. So that they're saying that could be an issue. That's a little bit misleading as well. So there's essentially this new project that's come out, and it's called the Decentralized News Network, and they're trying to tackle this head on. So they're saying that this Decentralized News Network, or DNN, all right, it's going to rely on an intelligent high vote in publishing online content. So they're saying, imagine Wikipedia, but if it was on a 24-hour news cycle type game. So, just because somebody's writing a bunch of share-worthy fake headlines doesn't mean it'll see the light of day. Instead, for the benefit of DNN's rapid growing readership, which they currently have, it says over 20,000 signups and roughly 100 committed writers, that, reviewers will pick apart every aspect of the article, and you will be able to submit your opinion on the validity of the article, which would increase the overall value of the news that's being spread. So the engines that fired up Decentralized News Network are powered by decentralization, facts, and collaboration. So DNN is going to use the power of blockchain to ensure that the content relies on reviewer consensus as opposed to, central publishing. We have seen things like this. There are those issues with Steemit where you do have big whales that have a potential, tons of steam power just upvoting things. And then we've also seen other companies come out Narrative, for example. I did an interview with those guys over there, and they're trying to tackle the same situation, dealing with fake news, quality content. And also Zpin is kind of looking to help those content creators a little bit. Not as much, but I just thought it was interesting how there is that issue of fake news. I feel like fake news has been around since the whole Donald Trump thing. It's fake news, right? So it's pretty interesting. So, the whole idea behind the blockchain is that they're saying due to its permanent public status, content stored on the blockchain cannot be suppressed or deleted, making it immune to the onslaught of sinister schemes. So that is something we've seen also with Steemit. But by incorporating a reviewer feedback system, writers also gain valuable feedback on how to better research, plan, structure, and provide their content to users as well. So I just thought that was really interesting, guys. So yeah, that's something that could change. So DNN, Decentralized News Network, that might be something to look out in the future. So also, speaking on China, I wanted to talk about how a lot of people think that China, because they've had these issues with cryptocurrency, they banned the exchanges, they had all these issues, they have the Great Firewall, they're very strict with their regulations. The craziest thing is that they've had the most blockchain patents internationally last year. So more than 50% of the 406 patents filled in the world last year came from China, which was then followed by a close second of the US and Australia. So they're saying that companies are moving fast in order to protect their ideas in new areas of technological development long before the technology actually goes to the market. So these guys are getting patents on technology that's not even available yet. That's how ahead of the curve they are. That's how far they're looking forward into the future for this blockchain development. So also earlier this month, the Investment Association of China announced that it would develop an international blockchain investment development center. And then this week, the China IT Ministry said it wants to standardize blockchain by expressing a list of objectives. So I still think that when we look at China and we consider their stance, even though it is a little bit confusing to us, especially over here in the West, I think that once that kind of cloud gets lifted and once those gray areas kind of get rubbed off and we can see the difference between what they actually think about it versus the speculation, I think we're going to see a pretty big movement coming out of China. So I would definitely be prepared for that. And you know, I do look at those projects in China that are working with the regulations, and that's why I love NEO on this channel. So NEO, even though people do argue about the current centralization of the project, the fact is that China is a gigantic global economy, and the fact that NEO is working so closely with them, it's partially the reason why I think that once this turns around, once this does a 180, we could definitely see some really awesome movement and participation from China, especially in the blockchain arena and hopefully in the cryptocurrency arena as well moving forward. So also, speaking of this, I remember if you guys remember, I talked about this a little bit ago about Bithumb, how they were doing those cryptocurrency vendors they were going to have coming out. So Monday, they had the partnership with Korea's Pay service. So about 200 franchise brands are going to allow customers to use this service across 6,000 different outlets, right? So these two companies will work to make virtual currencies available at over 6,000 outlets in the first half of the year and 8,000 by the end of the year. So they say, we have taken a landmark step, a Bithumb official said. We will try hard to set up an environment in which cryptocurrencies are used extensively. I think that is really cool. I mean, can you imagine just going to like a club or a bar or something, or anywhere, going out to dinner, and you have your ATM, and then you have your Bithumb cryptocurrency, payment machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's so freaking cool. And I think if we could move that to other places, that would be really awesome. And it would definitely help for more adoption, which you guys know, I'm huge about adoption on my channel. So also, a crypto that I feel no one ever talks about is NEM. Now, I know my boy, the Crypto Lark over there, I know he loves his NEM. And I wanted to take a look at it today. So I've been hearing about this Catapult for a while, and I really didn't look into it, I'll be honest. But it turns out that Catapult is a full-featured blockchain engine that can power both private and public networks with its unique smart contract plugin. So these plugins enable bulletproof digital asset creation, decentralized swaps, advanced account systems, and business logic modeling. So in the next phase, Catapult will become the core NEM engine. So then, what's new exactly? So besides making big improvements to speed and scalability, Catapult introduces aggregated transactions and multi-level, multi-signature accounts. These offer new users that have never been, these offer new uses that have never been available on any blockchain. That's crazy, guys. Now, I know that NEM, they're one of those really, really quiet companies. They just kind of put their head down and just go to work. You know what I mean? So they're not huge on the marketing, but they are very heavily focused on enterprises. And don't forget, they do have that private blockchain as well. So NEM is the public, but they do have a private blockchain for enterprises that, that's also a thing that they have. But some of the things that they're coming out with is decentralized swaps, automatic transaction fee payment. There's plenty of diagrams you could look at on this. Multi-asset escrow transactions, multi-level, multi-signature accounts, fraud detection, account recovery. And guys, look at this list. I mean, look at this list of things they're doing. Bank accounts, exchanges, IoT micropayments, voting, sharing economy, copyright management, medical records, time logs, scientific data recordings, encrypted messages. And this list just goes on and on and on, guys. So that is really excellent news coming out of the NEM camp. And as far as that recent hack was concerned, you had that issue, but it is nice to see a little bit of that faith restored, and it's nice to see that they've been able to move forward and just continue working on the project and continue to provide people with these really awesome upgrades to the system. So here's an article too. A lot of people were asking about when is Coinbase going to list a new freaking coin, right? Like, come on, guys. How long has it been? That's a question that everyone's been asking. So this says that according to Coinbase's general manager, Don Romero, the exchange wants to add several new cryptocurrencies in line with customer feedback, but it's treading cautiously as U.S. regulators deliberate on how they might treat certain use cases of the technology. But since Coinbase is not a licensed broker, well, at least not yet, it cannot trade instruments that qualify as securities. So, I mean, I can understand this, they're just trying to cover themselves, that's fine. But what the firm doesn't want to deal with is adding crypto assets to its platform and then being ordered to remove them again, as several exchanges in Hong Kong had to do when crypto tokens were, retroactively deemed securities in February. I remember when we had seen this, and we actually saw this before that too. I remember when Binance first came out, they were running some ICOs on their platform, and then they had to take those down. So that was another thing. That was a while ago with Binance, but that was something that they were dealing with. So, Romero says, when we get to a point that we know which digital currencies and assets are securities, which ones are commodities, money, or currency, etc., it would be immensely helpful. If the regulatory environment gets clearer, I think you will see Coinbase adding many new assets to our platform. Now, you also have Nick Ayton, founder of Chainstarter, who is a little concerned, all right? So depending on who you ask, such choices even have an air of conspiracy to them. So he speaks about how, around Christmas, all of a sudden Bitcoin Cash just appeared. There was no announcement. He says there's a lot of funny business going on. So I just want to clear it up real quick for anybody that doesn't know. So Bitcoin forked into Bitcoin Cash. I think it was in August. And then Coinbase said nothing of the matter. And people were like, well, when am I going to get my Bitcoin Cash? And then they were like, oh, we'll give it to you in January. A lot of people were outraged about this. So there was no information. Nothing was talked about. Nothing was spoken about Bitcoin Cash. And then randomly in December, mid-December, they just boom, dropped Bitcoin Cash, right? Out of nowhere. And then Bitcoin Cash had spiked to an all-time high. I'm not even kidding this, and I think they might have even altered it at this point, but I know because I was physically there looking at it. I saw buy orders for $9,000 in Bitcoin Cash. I'm not making this up, guys. They said that it was completely out of line. They halted exchanges, they shut it down, and then no one was able to sell their Bitcoin Cash. So then there was this big conspiracy of, was there insider information? And then when people started looking at the charts, they noticed that there was an accumulation happening of Bitcoin Cash before it kind of came out to the masses. So there was that big conspiracy. So that, if you guys don't know what that was, that's basically what it was. They thought that there might have been insider trading about people that had known that Bitcoin Cash was going to be listed. And the fact that it wasn't announced and it just dropped out of nowhere, well, that was kind of what people were really upset about. So while Romero declined to comment on which assets are currently being considered, nevertheless, the fact that Coinbase is getting popular demand might prove insight into what cryptocurrency assets might be next. But then here's the other thing. So if they're saying that they're basing it on, the community and the demand, well, so many people, tons of people have been asking about Ripple, right? XRP. It's one of the top cryptos, literally. So they say so far, Coinbase has denied all rumors related to XRP support, even though it's hit an all-time high of $3.82 and more than 26,000 people have signed a petition asking for Coinbase to add the asset. So the top thing, assuming you've passed the framework, is customer demand. Our customers are essentially what they consider to be the most valuable aspect of the platform. Not what social media wants, not what CNBC wants, our customers. We keep track of constant feedback from our customers. All right, guys. So that's that. So it looks like Coinbase probably isn't going to be adding any coins anytime soon. And if they are, you can expect it to be completely unannounced, and potentially somebody might have bought it before you. I don't know. Not going to go into too much about that. But let's end on a fun note. We were just talking about the whole fork of Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash. So I found this pretty cool article at usethebitcoin.com, and they were talking about the history and evolution of cryptocurrency forks. So I'm not going to go into this because most of us know about this, but it goes into Bitcoin. There was Bitcoin Classic, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Monero, Litecoin, and then they go into the difference between hard forks and soft forks. So for those of you guys that are new into crypto and maybe you don't know some of these terms or you don't know some of the history, I'll drop that in the description because it's a really fun read. It's about 3 minutes, and it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of the history of the forks and, their use cases and Yeah, so I'll drop a link in the description, guys. So that being said, that's it for today, guys. Welcome back to the week. It's Monday. Hopefully, we're having a little bit of a dip right now. Maybe it won't last, but who knows? It's crypto. However, there are a lot of experts predicting a bull run that could potentially be coming late spring, early summer. So, guys, I'm not huge on TA on my channel, but I do respect the opinions and the analysis of those that are more experienced in those fields, and they are saying and predicting that they do see a bull run in the future. So let me know, guys, what do you think? Do you think we're headed for doom and gloom, or do you think that we're just in a consolidation period, or what do you guys think? I mean, personally, I think we will see a bull run. I do. Because if history repeats itself, it's just going to happen. We're going to bust through that all-time high. Everyone's going to get involved again. Google searches are going to go up, blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to repeat the cycle over and over and over again. I think that's just how crypto works, guys. So to everyone that's here hanging out, watching my channel today, you guys are awesome. Thank you for staying involved in the crypto community. You guys are still real early. I say that all the time. People are like, oh, no, this is over. It's done. It's not done, guys. It's still just getting started. I mean, we don't even know the regulations of it. The governments don't even know what to do with it yet. It's very, very early, guys. So shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting on my channel. You guys are amazing. Join the Telegram group if you want. It's a really great community. And that being said, guys, my name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.